station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
With the general election now less than 50 days away, thousands of absentee ballots are in the mail. Good evening, I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Many people are choosing to vote by mail this year due to the pandemic, but some are concerned that their ballot might not make it to its destination by Election Day. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker is working for you to make sure your vote counts on November 3rd.
Jill Engel tells me her choice to vote by mail was an easy decision.
The primary reason is concern about contracting COVID-19.
Being of a particular age, Jill now falls into the high-risk category for those catching COVID-19 and getting really sick from it or worse.
I anticipate a very large turnout for this presidential election, and I just don't want to stand in line with people that maybe won't wear a mask or people that show up maybe ill, but they're determined to vote.
Like Jill, thousands of other people in central Indiana are planning to vote by mail this year. Marion County has received around 43,000 absentee ballot applications, more than double the 21,000 requested for the 2016 general election. Spurred on by the political back and forth about mail-in voting, some people, like Jill, are worried their ballot might not get counted if they send it back through the mail.
I trust our local mail carrier. It's just what's coming out from Washington that concerns me.
If you share Jill's concerns, you can turn in your mail-in ballot in person to your county's election board at an early voting site or on Election Day at a voting site before noon. Jill says she'll do what's necessary to avoid voting in person.
It's not worth the risk.
Counties are now mailing out ballots. Marion has sent out around 6,000 of them, and an election official tells me that they are going to start counting them, as required by law, on Election Day. But to compensate for the increase, they may start counting them earlier in the day. However, that has not been decided yet. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Some important dates for you to keep in mind. To vote in November, you must register by October 5th. To vote by mail, you have to request a ballot by October 22nd. If you are returning your ballot by mail, the Postal Service says to give it at least a week to arrive by the noon on Election Day deadline. That means you should put it in the mail by the morning of October 27th. Information on how to request a ballot and all of these deadlines, go to WRTV.com.
There is still no announcement at this hour regarding the future of Big Ten football. Speculation on a possible fall season is ramping up after a microphone captured a comment made by the president of the University of Nebraska.
We're getting ready to announce a Husker in Big Ten football tonight.
Oh, really? I heard that was happening. I didn't. I think there's a lot of anticipation about that. Good for you. Maybe that'll get off your plate.
Well, it never will, but it's a good move in the right direction.
That's Nebraska President Ted Carter talking to the director of National Strategic Research Institute before a news conference this morning. Big Ten officials met this weekend and were presented with a plan to possibly start the football season in mid-October. Last month, university presidents voted to postpone fall sports. They have been under intense pressure to reverse the decision. Carter later backtracked on the private comment that went public.
I think that was picked up a little out of context. All I said is there's work going on, and I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic like everybody else, and we'll get to discovering when it's safe to play.
The University of Wisconsin chancellor is also commenting publicly. Rebecca Blank says Big Ten football will stay on hold until there are answers to questions about COVID testing, tracing, and possible long-term heart issues. Muncie High School is canceling football for the next 2 weeks. In a tweet, the district says the decision comes after a player tested positive for COVID-19. The school says 32 football players and 5 coaches who came in close contact with the student are quarantining. The team is scheduled to start playing again on October 2nd.
Today, 2 Indianapolis school districts announced plans to return students and staff to classrooms after starting the school year with 100% remote learning. WRTV's Cameron Riddle explains all students will be able to return to school, but not all at once.
Good evening. Playing on the soccer field here at Carmel High School is some of the closest students from Washington Township schools have gotten to being at an actual physical school since the start of the pandemic. As you know, they were one of the school districts that opted to do 100% virtual learning. Washington Township, along with Indianapolis Public Schools, both making that decision at the start of the school year today, announcing that students will be allowed to return to the classroom in October. For Indianapolis Public Schools, younger students will be able to enter the classroom as early as October 5th, with older students having the option to do hybrid learning beginning on October 19th. It is a similar situation just north of the IPS school district for Washington Township schools, where the younger students will have the option to return to class on October 12th, and the older students having that option to return to class on October 19th. We caught up with the parent, Charlie Little, here at Carmel, watching her Washington Township student play the game tonight. She says they are elated that school is finally returning to somewhat normal, with kids and families having the option to do in-person learning.
So right after fall break or shortly after fall break, they'll be starting, and we are really pleased. I feel like the board did a good job in trying to follow safety guidelines, but take the community's input into account. And I have faith that the school will do the best they can to follow the rules and keep everybody safe.
And that hybrid learning, where older students do some school in person, the other portion online, is a mandate of the Marion County Public Health Department, which also mandates that all staff and students wear masks while they are physically at school. I'm Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Washington Township's reopening plan calls for all of the district schools to return to 100% virtual learning if Marion County's COVID-19 positivity rate rises above 8%. As of tonight, the county's 7-day positivity rate is at 5.6%.
Parents in another Indiana Central school district are not happy with the current remote learning models. This was the scene today outside of the Franklin Township Administration Building. Some parents held a rally to make their voices heard. They say that their kids are falling behind and missing out.
Our kids are missing in their education by not having live instruction, where the hybrid students do at least get 2 days of live instruction. These kids get none. And I think that that's a huge expectation of these kids at such a young age.
If they could physically see their teacher on the computer to go over the assignment, maybe, because even when they have the instructions on there, he doesn't really understand them sometimes.
We told you last week some parents have started a petition expressing their concerns. A Franklin Township spokesperson declined an interview, but says officials have met with several families individually over the past few days. A reminder, support is available for parents who need help with e-learning, especially if you work during the day or you don't have internet capabilities. Community learning sites from the organization The Mind Trust are set up across Indianapolis. This one here at the Reset Center on the Far East Side is working with students from 14 different schools. They are kindergartners through 8th graders with various schedules, learning levels, and requirements. The Reset Center says this service is critical for many families.
We could have up to 300 people on Wi-Fi at one time without any slowdown. So it works well for the kids because at any given time we have 25, 30 kids on Wi-Fi along with staff and along with things that we need to do. So it was a benefit to the kids, the families, because some of these people are struggling and they can't afford Wi-Fi, but they can drop their kids off here and be on Wi-Fi with a strong signal and don't miss a beat, with respect to their school.
The center is always looking for more volunteers and donations. To learn more, go to theresetcenter.com.
Now to the forecast. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan is in for Kevin tonight, tracking some cool overnight temperatures. Alyssa.
That's right. We're still falling with the map behind you, Amanda. Temperatures will drop into the 50s overnight, 51 degrees for our overnight low. Those cooler temperatures partially due to clear skies. We're not going to have a lot of cloud coverage to insulate us. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we'll start the morning a little bit cool with those temperatures in the 50s. By the noon hour, we'll be into the low 70s. And tomorrow will be our warmest day in the 7-day forecast with a high high of 82 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Now, behind that, we are going to see some changes moving in Thursday. We have a cold front that will sweep across the area. What that will do, it will push out some of that wildfire smoke that's been bringing us those hazy conditions. We'll still see those tomorrow, and then we'll see some cooler air settle in behind that. Highs for the rest of the week will only be into the 70s.
If you attend ITT Technical Institute, you may be included in a $10 million legal settlement. Today, Attorney General Curtis Hill announced that 1,354 former ITT students in Indiana will get debt relief. The nationwide settlement is with Peaks Trust. That's a private loan program. The Attorney General's office says ITT Tech pressured students into accepting loans from Peaks with high interest rates. The school filed for bankruptcy and closed its campuses in 2016.
1 week from today, residents on the west side of Indianapolis can weigh in on a plan to bring 5G towers to the area. People who live in Wayne Township are being told 5G cell towers will go where these signs are posted. 5 different towers are planned to go up in Westwood. Neighborhoods across Indianapolis have faced this issue. A public hearing on the towers will be held at 1 o'clock on September 22nd at the City County Building.
Next, this map could help you decide how to celebrate Halloween this year. And a little later,
the parents who, when they're at home with their kids, really don't get a break to really focus on their work.
Forget working and learning from home. How about taking Zoom calls and classes from the beach? The benefits of a schoolcation. Will trick-or-treating happen this year? The state and local cities have not made any Halloween announcements yet, but a new website can help you determine what is best for your family. It includes an interactive, color-coded map showing COVID risk levels in every county. Each color corresponds with recommended Halloween activities. For example, in green zones, trick-or-treating and neighborhood costume parties are considered safe. But in red zones, smaller and virtual gatherings are recommended to stay safe, like Zoom and TikTok parties. The site is backed by the Halloween Industry Association, a not-for-profit group. We have a link on our website. Find out where your community stands by going to WRTV.com and click on this story.
Tonight, President Trump answered questions directly from undecided voters in an exclusive 2020 town hall special. ABC's Alex Perche reports the president addressed COVID-19, health care, and racial unrest.
Welcome to our town hall.
President Trump in Philadelphia tonight, taking questions from uncommitted voters as part of the 2020 special, The President and the People, with ABC chief anchor George Stephanopoulos. The first topic, the coronavirus.
I wanted to always play it down.
In those recorded interviews with journalist Bob Woodward, released to CNN, President Trump admitted to downplaying the COVID threat.
Well, I didn't downplay it. I actually, in many ways, I upplayed it in terms of action. My action was very strong.
His rival, former Vice President Joe Biden, saying otherwise during a roundtable with veterans today in the battleground state of Florida.
The reason why the COVID crisis has been so bad, he is focused only on making sure the stock market stays up.
ABC News offered to host a similar town hall with Biden. The network and the campaign could not find a mutually agreeable date. During tonight's special, President Trump was also pressed on health care.
I interviewed you in June of last year. You said the health care plan would come in 2 weeks. You told Chris Wallace that this summer it would come in 3 weeks. You promised an executive order on pre-existing. I have it already. But
Though he would not commit to when that plan would be unveiled. And in the wake of police killings of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and the shooting of Jacob Blake, president facing questions about race and police reform.
Do you feel racial injustices are occurring in this nation?
Well, I think they were tragic events. If you look at our police, they do a phenomenal job. You'll have people choke, make mistakes. If you're going to stop crime, we have to give the respect back to the police that they deserve.
But you have yet to address and acknowledge that there's been a race problem in America.
So if you go, well, I hope there's not a race problem. I can tell you there's none with me.
Near the end of the night, the president was asked about his critics who have said that his behavior is not presidential. President Trump saying that he's fighting a lot of forces, adding that sometimes you don't have time to be totally, as you would say, presidential. Joe Biden has a similar style event on another network on Thursday. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
Hurricane Sally is expected to make landfall late tonight or early tomorrow near the Alabama-Mississippi state line. Right now, heavy rain and wind are hitting the coast of Florida and Alabama. This is a live picture from Orange Beach, Alabama. You can see the rain starting to come down, and it's very strong winds out there. The storm could trigger dangerous historic flooding along the northern Gulf Coast. 3 to 4 months worth of rain could fall in some places. WRTV's Alyssa Donovan joins us now. Alyssa, the storm is moving very slowly at this hour, but what are you tracking so far?
That's right, Amanda. It's moving about 2 miles per hour. Now, this is not a record breaker. The slowest storm that we've seen moving across the area has been 1.3 miles per hour. That was Hurricane Dorian last year. So this is up there, though, as one of the slowest storms. Now, as a storm stalls out like that, it has the potential to bring heavy torrential downpours, and that's exactly what's happening. Some areas along the coast have already received over a foot of rainfall, and they're expecting to see anywhere from 10 to 20 inches of rainfall from this system, with some isolated spots looking at about 30 inches of rainfall as it continues to track through. Now, looking ahead to when it makes landfall, expected to be overnight tonight, right around the pre-dawn hours, and we have seen those winds upgraded to about 85 miles per hour. They are at 80 miles per hour at the last report, so they've gone up a little bit. That still keeps it in the Category 1 range, and then this is expected to curve back out to the Atlantic as soon as it makes landfall. So it will decrease and weaken into a tropical depression as it makes its way across Alabama and into Georgia, as well as the Carolinas. But it is going to be moving very slow, so it is going to be bringing quite a bit of rainfall across those areas as it moves over the next couple days. Looks like it will be back out into the Atlantic by Friday. So here's a look at what we're expecting from this system over the next couple days. Not much. It's going to veer very quickly off to the right, and we're only going to see the potential of maybe a stray shower, but more likely just some cloud coverage from that system here in Indianapolis tonight and tomorrow and into Thursday. The real thing we're seeing right now is that wildfire smoke from the west. That's what we're seeing more of, and that's really going to be the bigger impact as we head through the day tomorrow here in Indiana. Overnight tonight, we'll see clear skies, however, and temperatures will drop off because of that. We'll be in the 40s and 50s across the area, so tomorrow morning you'll want a light jacket. But tomorrow's also going to be our warmest day in the forecast, 83 degrees for our high, partly cloudy skies. A little bit of that wildfire haze will still be in the forecast as well. And then we're going to see a change. We'll have a cold front sweep through on Thursday. That's going to push out that wildfire smoke. It's also going to bring us a little bit more cloud coverage, mixing in with that cloud coverage from the hurricane to the south. So we'll see a little bit more cloud coverage for our Thursday, and then cooler air will be in place behind that. We're going to see temperatures drop off quite a bit. So tomorrow will be the warmest day, and then we're going to drop about 10 degrees as we head into Thursday as that cold front passes. 73 degrees for our high, and then we are staying cool as we head into the weekend with those temperatures just a little bit below average for a change. 70 on Friday, 69 on Saturday. Overnight lows will be in the 40s.
Hiring Hoosiers is committed to connecting you to opportunities to help you start, advance, or change your career. Kroger is hosting another job fair tomorrow to fill positions in Westfield, Fishers, Carmel, and on the north side of Indianapolis. It goes from 2 to 7 at the company's training center in Castleton, 8040 Castleway Drive.
A virtual career fair will be held on Thursday in Hamilton County. Many Hamilton County employers have high-paying, in-demand positions available. The career fair will connect those companies and educational institutions with employees who have recently been displaced by the pandemic and are open to pursuing a fresh career track. Many of these employers will even provide the necessary classes and training. Organizers say federal funding is helping offset the costs of providing Hoosiers with the training and the opportunity to land a new career.
Nearly half of workers say that the jobs they've lost due to the virus won't return. So right now is a primary opportunity to get the retraining that you need.
The Hamilton County Workforce Recovery Task Force and the Hamilton County Workforce Innovation Network are working together to host this free virtual career fair, which includes nearly 24 employers and the ABC Training Center as well. You can expect to take part in one-on-one chat or video conversations with company and education representatives. This virtual career fair is this Thursday, the 17th, from 11 in the morning until 3 in the afternoon. We have a link to register when you search for this story on the WRTV app or at hiringhoosiers.com. Be right back.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
If you're dreaming of a place to take a break while your kids attend school virtually, there's a growing trend that makes that dream a reality. Scripps reporter Stephanie Stone takes us to some of the resorts offering schoolcations.
Craving the beach?
It's a beautiful destination in the Mexican Pacific.
This is the Four Seasons Punta Mita. Miguel Peregrina lives nearby and gets to work here as the on-site communications and marketing director.
We were thinking, what should we do? Because on top of all that, it was very long stays. People decided we're arriving for 3 weeks or longer stays.
This particular resort was the first of the Four Seasons to open in Latin America. After their post-COVID reopening in early July, Peregrina says they started getting some interesting inquiries.
We are receiving a lot of requests for study buddies, which is some kind of a nanny with technical expertise, familiar with all the operation in the resort, that can stay with the kids while they are doing their online classes. So these are our study buddies. And we also have professional tutors.
There's golf, tennis, even folklorico lessons if you're so inclined. You get to work in a cabana while your kids do their work too. And everyone wins. If you've got mountains on your mind, you can head to the Poconos.
It looks like you have a lot of friends behind you. What are those friends doing?
They're doing their homework or they're online with their class at the moment, trying to stay engaged in their schoolwork.
General Manager Robert Howell is masked because that's what's required in the Shawnee Inn and Golf Resort's monitored learning environment.
Where's mom and dad, these particular children behind you?
Mom and dad are out and about. So they could either be on the porch just having a cup of coffee, they could be on the golf course playing a round of golf, they could be sitting by the river, swimming in the river.
There's also hikes on the Appalachian Trail, river trips, or just fresh air on a patio. But if your kids are craving a water park, there's the Howl and Learn option at Great Wolf Lodge. For now, 5 of their 19 locations are offering a schoolcation.
The parents who, when they're at home with their kids, really don't get a break to, really focus on their work. We gave them an opportunity to put them into this independent learning center, and then the parents can go off and take those conference calls, do those work things that they're not able to get to when they're doing remote learning at home with their kids.
Communications Director Jason Lasecki says they realized last spring that parents were having a hard time making it all happen.
When you're done with your school, you've got the water park there. You can go have fun in the water park that afternoon.
Take your pick if you want a break.
We hope to see you soon at the Four Seasons Resort Punta Mita. Come and visit. It's beautiful.
As it seems you can pick a spot, any spot on the map, and find something for everyone, anywhere. I'm Stephanie Stone, reporting.
A little bit cool overnight. Those temperatures dropping into the low 50s across the area. Expect another hazy day tomorrow with some sunshine and a little bit of that smoke from the wildfires. 82 for the high, and then we're into the 70s by the weekend.
And that'll do it for us here on WRTV News at 11. GMI head your way at 4:30. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, everybody.